Hello everybody and welcome back. We're still chapter 1 in the story of spiders with the name of Egyptian Desert. The last time we knew that the robbers were all bitten with the spiders in the tombs, and they ran away to escape the spiders, and they drove the land cruisers away from the tombs as fast as they can. At that time, the small man felt pain all over his body, so he said he was afraid from these bites of spiders, but he was in the same land cruiser with the leader of the gang, the old man. So he said to him, "Don't worry about it. There aren't any deadly spiders in Egypt," and there's a very important comment which is familiar in the exams. There aren't any deadly spiders in Egypt. We might get sick, but we won't die. He was so hopeful about the future of his life. So, but the small man told him, "Didn't you hear about these fish in South America?" He meant some fish that the archaeologists found in an underground lake, and they weren't like any other fish. He said that. So he was afraid that these spiders were just like those fish in the lakes. They weren't discovered before and they might be poisonous or something. So he was worried about that, but the old man told him, "Don't worry, I don't think so." So the small man told him, "I hope so, because I'm not feeling well. Here, I'm feeling very sick," muttered the small man, because he was feeling pain. So as the men drove through the desert, the pain that they felt began to increase more and more. They began to sweat heavily, and they felt very thirsty, that they drank all the water that they have. And then after several hours they began to sense spasms. Spasms are violent movements of muscles in their legs, knees, arms. So poor robbers, they could no longer drive the land cruisers because the pain was very strong. There was no more water and they were about to die. In the early morning, the big man saw 4 spiders in the car. The big man saw 4 spiders in the car, and he shouted, "They are here! They are in the car," he said. But he couldn't complete these words, and these are the last words that we will hear from these robbers. So as the big man said these words, he died, and the tall man tried to get out of the car. He crawled out, but he fell out on the sand, dead. And there was a moment of silence. This moment of silence was broken down in the midday with a very great noise of a helicopter flying in the sky. The noise inside the helicopter was 20 times more than the noise outside the helicopters. I don't know what the use of the numbers here in the story there. The noise was 20 times noisy more than the noise outside the helicopter. Anyway, the helicopter was carrying a technician, the pilot of course, a technician and an engineer, a telecom engineer. They were going to a transmitter in the desert with a technician problem. The engineer was sitting in the front beside the pilot, because of course he was the head of the technician and he deserves the window seat, while the poor technician sat backwards with the equipment. So the pilot saw the 2 land cruisers with the 4 robbers lying on the sand. So he flew down in a circular motion, and then it landed near the 2 land cruisers. The 3 men, the pilot, the technician and the engineer, got out of the helicopter with bottles of water, because they thought that the robbers were only fainted. They lost their water and they fainted from thirst. But they examined the 4 men and they found that they were dead. After that, we knew that there are 4 spiders in the car. The pilot's hand was very near to one of the spiders there, and it became nearer. The spider was ready to attack. There's a point of suspense, but and at that moment the pilot said, "They are all out of water, so they are probably got lost and died of thirst." While the engineer said, "We'd better get on the radio. We'd better get on the radio." And according to this phrase, the engineer had saved the life of the pilot because his hand was very near from death, because the spider was going to attack him. So the pilot left the cars and went to the helicopter to get the police on the radio. He demanded the help of the police cars. And a few hours later, the police cars arrived, and they drove the 2 Land Cruisers, the 2 grey Land Cruisers, to a city which is southwest of Cairo. This city is called Hamadaya. The city of Hamadaya is the plot of our story. So police drove the 2 grey Land Cruisers there, and I don't know really why didn't the spider attack the driver of the car which took the 2 Land Cruisers to Hamadaya, because of course it disturbed it. I don't know why, but it seems that the writer wants this. And for real, I don't think that there are any deadly spiders in Egypt. This is just the story. So the police cars went in front of the police station in this city, and of course during their journey from the desert to Hamadaya, the sun heated the 2 cars that they were like ovens, because there aren't any small creature that could bear this heat. So all the spiders died. All the small spiders died because they couldn't bear this heat. But only one spider lived. A big spider which was watching in stealth inside one of the cars. It was watching the street outside with men and women buying food from a fruit stall, and some children were playing. And with this scene, chapter 1 ends. In the next chapter, our main character, Ayman, will appear. So stay tuned, and until the next time, I thank you for watching and see you.